Hello, Dr. Akansha Mehta. Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome to my channel. First of all, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Akanksha Mehta and I am from India. I finished my doctorate from Thapar Institute of Technology from Patiala, Punjab. After that, I started my postdoctorate in Slovenia. And after that, I got opportunity to come to Slovakia as a researcher, as an independent researcher. So now I am working as an independent researcher in Trenčín University, and I am very happy to motivate the students or to motivate the poor people who want some guidance or some questions about the opportunities of higher education in abroad countries.
Why did you apply for Slovakia? Why not other countries? Is there any reason?
Okay, first of all, my focus was I want to be independent researcher, because when you finish your doctorate, then you want some opportunity to do some work independently. But in Germany also, I applied for some position, but I was not satisfied with the response which I was getting from the professors, because first they want me to work under some professors or to work under some seniors. Then of course I can learn some things, but at the end, what you want to be in research independently, what your vision is to research. Second thing, I think most of the people, there is so much crowd in countries like Germany or France. Everybody wants to go to some bigger cities. Everybody wants to, they just see all the lights, but they don't see the work behind those lights. I mean, there is so much rush in all those countries, but in Slovenia, Slovakia, it's
In India, there is no crowd. Then why did you go there?
no, India also it's crowd, but I wanted to explore some other countries because I worked in good labs in India, but I want to see how the foreigners they work in other countries, so we can adopt some good things and then we can utilize that good things in our country to make our country progress at the end.
As a woman, how do you feel working, researching, and staying in other countries?
I feel good because of my parents' support. Your family support is most important. Doesn't matter you are single or you are married, you have children. What's more important is the support from your family, the support from the people who love you. So I get all the support from my family, my grandparents, which is most important for me. So they always encourage me to do research. They always encourage me to go ahead in the career. So that's more important for me.
How much money you spent it and how much money you got it from your parents? If the students want to apply for abroad countries for doing research, initially how much money they need?
Actually, when I came here, I didn't spend even a single penny of my parents' money. I was getting some scholarship in my doctorate. I saved some money from my doctorate scholarship, and here I know I was getting some scholarship while I came to Slovenia for the first time in Europe. So I spent just 50,000, which is my own saving from doctorate, and 50,000 was enough for me. And then after that, when I came here, I got salary after 15 days. So it doesn't matter you are from rich family, you are from poor family. Even I didn't take even a single penny from my parents. It was my saving, which because I know I wanted to go forward. So I saved before some amount of money just for my flight tickets and for 10 days what I have to spend there. And if you are a good student, they can before also they can send you money, and then you can utilize that money for your further salary or something. So it doesn't matter for me.
At present situation, lot of students are studying in BSc and MSc courses. For these students, what are the qualification they need to apply for abroad countries? Whether they have to pass in the JRF exam or GATE exam. So some other exams are there. So what do you want to tell to these students who are studying in BSc and MSc courses?
uh, I would say that please don't focus only on theoretical studies. because when you come to Europe or to abroad countries, they focus equal on theoretical and practical knowledge. It's not always important you are topper, you are getting good marks, 90%, 80% in your graduation, in your post graduation, and you are zero in practical knowledge. So it will not work. For sure it will not work when you will come to abroad countries. So first of all, focus on your theoretical knowledge as well as on your practical knowledge equally. Second thing, focus through your don't generally focus on textbooks. Don't always read textbooks. Okay, whatever it is written in the textbook, it's correct. Whatever other person is saying, it's not correct. Try to re-evaluate from the textbooks. Of course, whatever it is written is correct, but in some other vision. You need to somehow utilize your common sense or somehow utilize your experience. You can take help from your seniors, you can take help from web, that is it correct and what we are reading is correct or what we are reading is not correct. Third thing, try to get involved in some other activities also, not always on the study. Just you can ask from your seniors or from your faculty members if you can work in chemistry labs, if you can work in physics labs, or if you can utilize your talent in some other sources. You can go and educate poor people. You have to utilize your own time. Please don't watch movies in your free times. You can utilize your entire time in educating some poor people or something. Like when I was doing my BSc, I still remember I was educating side by side to poor students. So it was revising my knowledge also. I feel like I am also, doing 8th standard chemistry class, 9th standard chemistry class by myself. So these three are the major factors that will for sure help you in succeeding, or for sure help you in future when you want to come outside from India, when you want to come outside from your state itself. So these are the 3 points you should keep in your mind.
Is there any opportunity to study MSc in abroad?
Yes, it's the opportunity. Now recently Horizon 2020, it's a project between Europe and India. So through that project, they are giving scholarship to the excellent students all over the India who can come to abroad, who can come to Europe for MSc program. And like if you are in some private university or some other universities, you can apply through government scholarships. Like you can write to this DAD programs and all. Some of the fellowships, they provide 1 year internship program. 1 year you can do in India and 1 year you can do in abroad countries. Or there are lot of opportunities. The first thing, you just have to try. You have to make a plan. You have to write a research proposal. Why you want to study, why you want to do research in abroad countries. You will get for sure scholarships. There are a lot of opportunities. You just have to go on web and apply for the universities. You will get scholarships. Yeah.
Okay, thank you Dr. Akansha Mehta for the brief introduction. Now start your PowerPoint presentation and tell the opportunities present in the abroad countries.
So now I would like to start a brief presentation. So as you know through my introduction that I am a researcher in Alexander Dupik University of Trenčín, Slovakia. So I would like to give some brief opportunities, introduction and some motivation or vision, how you look through research and how you can get good scholarships, or you can get good research opportunities in abroad countries. So how you look through the when you just want to apply for abroad countries for master programs or even for graduation or for doctorate program. 4 things first comes in your mind. The first thing, whether they will provide scholarship. Second thing, whether it will be beneficial for us when we will come or when we will return back to India. Is it successful? How much money they are going to pay us, And the last thing, that our educational system will accept all these research opportunities or it will not accept. So for this, you all need to make a plan. It's not always important that whatever you are thinking, that will be true if you will move back, or whatever you are thinking, it will be, maybe it will be more good or maybe it will be less good. But the all things, first of all, you have to take a risk. You have to adapt yourself to take a risk, because research and coming to abroad countries, it can be a riskful, but if you are a good researcher, if you are a good student, then you can pass on all the barriers while you are coming. So what is the motivational point, like how you want to motivate yourself while before coming to abroad, or while you are in India also? Like, it's not always you want to come to abroad. In India also, first of all, what is the thing you want to keep your mind? This, yes, I can do this, I have I have the patience, I have ability to do this. So for that, first you need to really interact with your faculty members, like because they are more experienced than you, so they can better guide you. They can better give you a guidance that how you can do in your further studies, how you can if you are from a small college, how can you enter to a big university, from university how you can enter to abroad countries. Second thing, from your seniors, it's very important to take help from your seniors. If your seniors, that person is in some higher university, you are in college, you can contact him and ask him for the entrance test or for the interview, for all these things. The last thing, which is most important, is the web interaction. You really want to keep focusing on the good web pages. Like, I will tell you in the further presentation from which web page you can really apply for the jobs, for how you can start searching about the scholarships before coming to abroad. Next, what are this is the basic, or this is the most common question, which is really asked by all the students. Even I get calls from some students, some my juniors, that how we can apply for the abroad countries, what are the things and what are the opportunities we need to know. So you can really, this is in 2020, it's really the Excellent Science Global Challenges competitive collaborative project between India and Europe, which is finalized at 22nd of August 2016. But now it's for 2020. Now they are planning to take a lot of excellent students from all over the India, and they want to give scholarship to all those Indian students to continue their master studies or to continue their doctoral studies. Also for the scholars who completed their doctorate, they can come through this scholarship to abroad countries, to Europe, especially focusing on Europe. And they are pretty much giving good scholarship. You can stay here luxuriously, and you can do your research, you can even save some money, and you can live a very happy life in Europe. And according to me, Europe is very good place to further live for a long time, if you want to live for a long time. But it really depends on you. So as I promised, these all are the scholarship programs that you can apply for. The first one is Euro Express. It's a European Union website. It's an official website for researchers who want to pursue their research careers in Europe. So it's basically for the students or for the scholars who finish their graduates or who finish their master's studies and who want to continue their research in different science and technology fields. They can apply through this website. They can search through this website. There are a lot of scholarship, like Marie Curie scholarship. Marie Curie is the most famous scholarship. It has it's a bit competitive scholarship, but it gives a good amount of scholarship, and you really get a tag in Europe that you are from this scholarship. So you are already on the top cream of the Indian students. You have done one step you are ahead of other people. if you got this scholarship. And then you can apply for that scholarship, which is for developing countries like India and for other developing countries. It's in Germany. For this DART scholarship, first you have to find out a university in Germany, and then you have to see that which is your research program and which is your research field where you want to apply, and then you have to find a professor who is working in the same field, and then you can personally mail and ask that you want to apply for this scholarship, and they will for sure respond you, and through this connection you can apply, and you can get, if you are good in writing proposals, if you are good in writing the things, if you are good in expressing while writing, then it's easy to get. And then it's Holland scholarships, and then Swedish Institute Study Scholarship. Sweden is really good in chemistry field. If you want to pursue your studies after BSc, if you want to pursue your masters in Sweden, it's really good. You can apply through this Swedish Institute Study Scholarships, and then Belgium scholarship, then Eiffel Excellence Scholarship in France you can apply, and then in Switzerland in some of the scholarship. And Italian government is giving so much money for research nowadays, and compared to other countries, Italy is not so good in research, but now it's really improving, and they are focusing more as compared to other countries in Italy. So these are some of the scholarships which you can really apply, and I think it will be useful for everybody. And you don't have to spend even single amount of money. They will provide you for everything, for your expense, for your travel tickets, for your return tickets. And if you complete your masters from these scholarships, then if you are good in master, you scored good master, you have good research thesis in your master, then they will take you for PhD also, and then you can continue your doctorate in the same institute, and then you can apply for postdoctoral studies. Maybe you will get permanent after. It's a long lengthy process. Of course, if you want to do PhD, you can just do some business and you sit in your home and earn some bit of money. But if you focus on research, then it's a lengthy procedure as compared to other career options. But at the end, you will give a fruit. You will for sure get a fruitful results. So it depends. It's your vision. Opportunities providing is their vision, and your vision to focus on these scholarships. The next one is the most common asked question. It is like how they are selecting the students. Like what's the selection procedure? So an independent selection committee, it will consist of some special scientists which will review your applications. It's not like one scientist is seeing your application and depends on his mood he will reject or accept the application. No, that's not true. There will be some full team of scientists. Like if you are applying for chemistry, if you are applying for physics, there will be 5 members sitting from chemistry field, inorganic, organic, nanotechnology, materials, and they will select, they will review your application. Then it really depends on your academic qualification. Like your degree certificates, they are fake or they are okay. Your depends on references. If you are giving references, is directly related to your faculty and seniors interaction. If you have interacted good with your faculty members, they can give you good references, and through good references you can get the scholarships easily. And then if you are PhD, of course, list of publication, it will matter, more or less it will matter. And then after graduation, how many lectures or conferences do you have you contributed to, it will matter. Then of course the quality of research is very important. Like it doesn't really affect the quantity of your publication. It will directly relate to your quality of the publication. How many research projects or how many good articles you have published. So you can do some less work, but in a quality manner. It's not always important to increase the quantity of your research. It's always important to increase the quality of your research. Then originality, novelty, how novel is your work, and what is your plan, how novel is your topic, and how it is relevant to the project for which you are applying. It will directly impact your selection procedure. And most important, you have to give a reason for choosing the host institution, that what is the reason behind choosing this particular scholarship. Also feasibility and consistency of your work schedule and time plan, like how you want to you can just give time bar graph, that how you will finish in which year you want to apply, and which year you want to start your research, and how it will be your analysis and evolution steps, if your all these things. Also language skills is, I think, while interview, it's really important. Okay, it's not everything that if you don't speak good English they will reject you. No, that's not true, because in Europe also, uh, the people, they are not so good in English. They respect other people who speak good English. But first thing is the science. The language of science is not English, not Hindi. It's really not relate to your language. Science is a language of science only. So if you are thinking, if you are shaming yourself that you don't speak good English, then you cannot get opportunity, then you are really wrong. If you are a good scientist, a good researcher, a good hardworking researcher, you will get good scholarships. You will, for sure you will succeed in abroad countries if you apply. Also the importance of research project and stay for academic and professional plans is very important, that you previously make all your plans, that how you want to study, with which professor you want to study, on which project you want to study. So making a good plan is really important. Then your additional criteria, which is directly related to your curriculum, CV, you can say your additional knowledge and skill, that how many languages you know. Some people in India, you have the opportunities, you can learn French, you can learn German, you can learn Italian, you can learn whatever language you want to learn. So there are different, you can learn through YouTube, you don't need to spend any money. You can learn all the languages on YouTube. Duolingo is a very good site. Even I am learning some Slovak language from Duolingo. You can learn from some app. You don't need to spend like money on going to some institute to learn the language. You can learn by yourself if you are hardworking or if you have the will to learn. Then involvement in your academic self-governance, higher education policy issues, like in your CV, it's not always your marks or your publications or something. If you want to join some other activities, it will impact when you will come here. Like before coming here, if you want to see the Europe, you can come through a conference. You can apply through DST or some CSIR projects if you have. You can just ask your mentor, and you can apply for abroad, and they will pay you 80 to 90% of the whole expenditure what you are going to pay here. So you can apply for that. You can first visit here for a conference, and then here you can make some good connection, and then in the future you can it will be easy for you to apply. Also some political, social, cultural, and social commitment, all these it's all additional criteria which may help you in getting scholarships, or which may help you in getting postdoctorate scholarship. Because I still remember when I wanted to apply, when I was giving interviews for my postdoctorate after finishing my PhD. Then despite of, okay, they were asking about research product, they were also asking about my skills, that what are my additional skills. So I had additional skills of, like, I learned some SEM analysis, I learned XRD, some good techniques. If you're working in industry, then it's like side by side you can go to some industrial members, and you can take some internship for 1 month, like you get holidays after your vacation, after your exam you get some vacations. You can go to some industry and apply for some internship programs, and it will really help you in further applying, it's really helpful if you can utilize your some time in some industries, or you can involve in some projects. Or nowadays, because of COVID, you can attend so many webinars, like you can apply for webinars and they will help you, improving your own skills, and they will help you in teaching so many things, and you are getting online certificate just sitting at home and applying for that. So I think all these it helps to, all these things will help you to get a good research platform further in your future. So all these things, it directly relates to the selection criteria. So this was a brief presentation, what I think it will be helpful for everybody. So I think studying abroad, it's an effective way of changing the way how you view the world. If you will come here, you really can, see the change, how the people are, how you are working, and how you can improve your working, how they are working, and how you can mingle them in improving your work. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akansha Mehta. Are you going to extend your project?
Yes, now it's for 2 years up to 2022, and then if I will be happy here, maybe I will get extension for more 2 years or 3 years. So I'm planning to live here for at least 2-3 years more.
How many papers you have published, and tell about your achievements in your lab?
Achievements, oh, okay. Okay, if you want to talk about publications, I published 2 papers, and if you want to talk about skills, I really learned a lot of new techniques. Before, when I was in doctorate, I was doing PhD, I was not allowed to, in my university, I was not allowed to operate some of the instruments like SEM, scanning electron microscope. I was not allowed to work on XRD, X-ray diffraction. So I learned so many techniques here. And also in what's the best thing I see in Europe countries as compared to India, that before entering the lab, you have to give some, safety test, which is very important here. You have to give chemical safety test, you have to give certain tests, and then only you can enter into your lab. So this is, directly related, that how the people here, they are, more focused towards the safety issues also in abroad countries.
I think you have learned something in Slovakia, in Trenčín University.
Little bit.
After 1 or 2 years, you are coming back to India.
Yeah.
So what is your vision there in India?
I want to, of course, come back to India. I want to apply to some universities. First, I wanted to, because I have time, I am not so old, I want to apply for Inspire faculty program. So I want to really, it's a good, you can get good money, and it's a reputed scholarship. So I would like to apply for that. And then whatever I get, assistant professor or something, I will. But for 3 years, I want to stay in abroad. And if I will like, so maybe I can settle in abroad if I will like to stay. Yeah.
For our Indian students, is there any opportunity to visit your lab, your research lab in Trenčín University?
Yeah, they can visit the lab, yes. Because now we are working independently, so but the problem is the scholarship, because here they will not give scholarship to intern students or something for internship. But if the Indian government is ready to pay scholarship, you can visit our laboratories. Maybe your university or some CSIR or DST projects we have in India, we can get some money through these projects. And maybe if the university higher authorities, they can sponsor some money to send their excellent student to the research labs, then yeah, of course they can visit our laboratories.
What are the facilities and opportunities provided in Trenčín University?
Opportunities, they first, the most important is scholarship. They give really good scholarship. They give around 60 to 70,000 rupees, Indian rupees per month for PhD, and here the expense is 30 to 40,000. So per year, per month, you can save around 20 to 30,000 as a student. And if you want to work more, you can here work as a student part-time job also in some, you can work in some restaurants or wherever you want to work. So you can make money also, and you can do some good research also. And for masters, till now they are not providing any internship for Indian student. They are in Europe only, they are applying some scholarship. But maybe from next 2 years, if we will get good fund after COVID, so maybe they can apply. Yeah.
Okay, then what is your actual work in your research lab?
My work basically is water treatment. So basically now, before the situation was like only the water was contaminated in countries, in Asian countries, but now this contamination is also in Europe countries. So they are hiring more people who are good in water treatment and all those environmental applications. So it will be a good opportunities for the students who really want to focus on environmental sustainable development, all these research. So my work is on water treatment. I'm preparing some membranes from which we can treat the water through water has some contamination through metal ions, water has some contamination through dyes and all these industrial pollutants. So my work is basically focused on environmental green approaches for water treatment.
Okay, then what is the latest water treatment present in Europe countries? How they are treating the water at present situation?
Okay, in industries they are testing through these COD limits and limit of detections, that how much limit of detected. Okay, everything is on the web, that how much the limit of detections is for different, the limit of concentration for different dyes or some pollutants and all these things. In water pollution, basically there are two sources of water pollution. One is indirect source, one is direct source. Direct source means the pollution which is coming from the industry. You know how much pollution is in the water, how much is the contamination of pollutants, how much is the contamination of organic pollutants in the water. Indirect means it's coming from household, because the people, they don't know how they are polluting the water. So we are focusing not on direct, now we are focusing on indirect, which has no record on university or all these things. So what we are doing, first we are taking the water, then through fluorescence optical techniques, we are calculating the amount of copper ions and all these ions which are present in the water, and then we are trying to make membranes according to that to treat the water according to their contamination sources. So there is according to WHO, World Health Organization, there is all the set limits, that this amount is for copper ions or for iron ions or magnesium. This is the minimum or maximum amount which we can drink, which is good for us, which we can drink. But if it exceeds more than that, then we cannot drink. So we are focusing on indirect sources which is not reported. So we are detecting by ourselves from some UV visible and fluorescence spectrophotometric techniques, and then we are focusing on that concentration, and we are accordingly making some solutions or some membranes according to that contaminating sources. Yeah.
Okay, after coming back to India, how you are going to clean the Ganges river? அதாவது கங்கை நதியை எவ்வாறு சுத்தம் செய்வீர்கள்? How will you clean the Ganges river?
So okay, this is a good question, how we are going to clean. So first of all, I have to be on a very high level to get through that Ganga river. If I will talk directly to some person going there, of course they will kick me out, because for them it's very religious. So first of all, I want to prove myself. First of all, I want to be on some higher level so that people will listen to me. If I will go there directly now, they will not listen me. They will think, what bullshit she is saying. So first of all, I have to go there, prove myself, make some contacts with the higher authorities, and then I can take some samples. Before also I can take some sample, analyze in my own laboratory, and then what are the conditions I have to first focus, because what you see is not correct. You have to analyze everything by yourself, and then I can do some positive experiments in my laboratory, and then I can focus, or I can go on higher levels.
Thank you, Dr. Akanksha Mehta. Thank you once again for answering all my questions without any hesitation. Thank you once again. So, what do you want to tell to the Indian students?
I would say best of luck to everybody, and if you need some help, you can share with us. We are really happy to provide you all the knowledge, whatever you want. And please believe in yourself. Don't think that other people, they are good from you. You are the best, and you just want a good motivation to prove yourself. Yeah, best of luck to everybody.